Wait, are we live?
Oh, wait, we're live now. Sorry.
I'm Maddy.
I'm Ryan. My mouth is full. I'm going to pull a Maddy this week and be like, do you like my hair?
I do. I think you redyed it because you told me that, but it doesn't look super different in this.
Well,
Probably
I
because
mean,
the lighting isn't good enough in there that you
yeah,
can
I
really
mean,
tell.
it's
But
also a
Ryan
red.
and I both are not natural redheads.
Well, at least yours looks natural. Mine's like usually like a neon red, except I didn't do it this time. It's more like auburn
I mean,
because,
kinda. I think mine has definitely faded a little bit, which is
Mhm.
too bad.
No, but I mean, like, it looks more natural that way. Like, sort of when you get the
No,
fade
but
going on. Excuse me. My hair's better. No, just kidding. I'm the better Barbie.
is already acting really weird
Oh,
and
whoa. That, I don't know.
making you slow down. So that's
Yeah,
good.
it just did that to you too. You were like mid
Yeah.
laugh and then you started talking.
Yeah, that is what just happened to you. So I actually don't know what you just said. You could have
Oh,
said anything. I
I
have
just
no
screamed
idea what it
something
was.
about Barbie. Don't worry. So, anyway, welcome to Insomniacs in the Morning, everyone. This is going to be one of those episodes that apparently isn't going to work correctly. So, just be prepared for the middle of this for one of us to just disappear or lose sound or like restart. It's
Yeah,
Friday.
I'm just expecting that anything that can go wrong will go wrong because that's kind of how we roll on
Yeah,
this
pretty
show.
much. Oh,
That's
okay, so also it's Friday. Normally we do this on Wednesdays, but I'm pretty much a fan of doing this on Fridays. Excuse me.
well, that's good because I'm going to ask you to do it on Friday again next week because every single weekday this week and next week I'm going to be in the studio recording an album until midnight or
Yeah,
1
what
p.m.
album? I don't know what you're talking about.
So I'm writing. I'm so tired.
You're writing an
Guys, I'm
entirely
like
new album.
writing an album as we go. I'm just like, it's a very U2
It's like a very
scenario
like improv. Like
where
everybody's just invested $15,000 in
that
this, and you're like,
literally is how U2 records albums. And like
really?
now that I'm actually doing this, I've realized how bonkers that is, like how much money they have because they just go into the studio and they're like, let's just try some shit. Like that's just how they do things, which is crazy. Okay, so anyway, we're not doing that. We very obsessively prepared an
How many
album.
songs have you recorded so far? I don't actually know the answer to that.
This is kind of a hard question to answer, and it's not an interesting answer.
No, but it is interesting to me because I'm not in a band, so I don't know the production schedule of making.
Totally. Okay, so
And I know you have to
really
record
quickly.
separate tracks like 10 times, so like
Well, the answer is both 7 and 10, which and I let me explain.
wait, why did you say two random numbers?
Well, we've recorded 7 tracks in the studio and
7, 11.
3 tracks, so 10 tracks total here at my place.
Okay.
So what we did was before we started working with Plaid Dog Recording, we recorded 3 songs here and they sound okay. They actually sound pretty good because we've gotten a lot of experience with recording stuff completely on our own at this point. So we had 3 songs because we were like, we're just going to record an album on our own because we didn't think we could get enough money to do it. And we definitely couldn't have without a crowdfund. But at the time, we weren't even considering something like that. But it was taking way longer. Like Dan would come over once a week, like Tuesdays. Sometimes he'd come on Thursdays and he'd record his parts. And so it was an extremely slow way to record songs. Like I would record my parts. Like it took fucking forever. So it was taking us like 3-4 months to record 3 songs, which just so you know is insane. Like it was not a sustainable way to record. Like it would have taken us an entire year to record an album that way. And like maybe we could have sat down and just done it in 2 weeks, but we didn't really know enough about what we were doing to like know to do that. And also we would do things in the wrong order because we didn't know, like even though we were more experienced now than we were then, we still fucked up a lot and we'd be like, we wouldn't know what we were doing essentially with things that no one could know what they were doing unless they were a professional. And so at some point in that whole process, Plaid Dog Recording emailed us and they were like, hey, we heard some of your demos online and we really like you. And we think that if you had good recordings, they were way nicer than that.
But that's essentially what they were saying.
They run a program where they find bands in Boston, because that's where they are, that are pretty good, but like need a little extra help with recordings. And like basically Mike Davidson listens to bands and he's like, this band's got some good songs, but their recordings aren't very good. So I'm going to go to them and like offer them marketing and recording engineering and like a bunch of help with the crowd fund.
That's actually, I mean, like that's a right way to do that, to target.
Oh yeah, it's like, really cool. It's incredibly flattering also, because
well, it's a good way to run a business, because like now he's targeting specific people that could potentially make it.
Yeah, and he's also like targeting people who already have material written and like already have a following and they can raise the money to do it, but just it hasn't occurred to them. And that was exactly us. Like we literally were like, wait, what?
Well, it took you a very long time to actually sign on. I remember that. So
it did, because Zach really didn't want to do it. And I think because we had already started recording on our own and Zach was like, this is going fine. And I was the one who was like, it's taking forever. And everybody was like, no, Maddy, it's going to take forever. And I'm like, well, yes and no. Like, I think we could probably record the rest of the album in like 2 months if we work with this guy. But if we keep doing it, it's going to take us a year.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also we're probably going to get a better quality with this guy. Nobody believed me, but eventually
I mean, Gita and I believed you. I don't know if that is helpful at all.
It's helpful. And eventually I like basically strong-armed everybody else into doing this. And I'm really glad I did, because the recordings that we've made at Plaid Dog have gone way faster and have sounded better.
So by strong-armed, I mean you brought Dan and Zach and you put your arm out at the wrestling table and you're going to be like, arm wrestling match.
Yep, yeah.
And then of course it's you, so you kicked both of their asses. This is like my vision of like
they're actually dead now. So I've just been recording everything. Yeah. It's it's like a really haunted. Oh man, I'm gonna see that this weekend.
I'm like really excited about that movie. We can't even talk about it because like it just came out.
Can you just drive up here and see it with me?
I'm probably gonna end up seeing it by myself because like I really want to see it. Nobody here wants to go see it.
I have hopes that you will end up seeing it with people because it's getting good reviews. But anyway, that's
of course it is.
Let's keep talking about me. No, I'm almost done, I swear. So since we already started recording 3 songs here, we didn't overlap. We were like, those 3 songs, we're not going to record them on this album for other reasons. Just because they were a weird 3 songs to pick anyway. Like we chose songs in a weird fucking order when we were recording them on our own because we're idiots. So we have those 3 songs, and I think we're actually going to try to finish them here. And so 3 songs in the album will sound kind of more like demo tracks, but the rest of the album will sound really good. And I'm okay with that because we could not afford to record 10 songs. We could afford to record 7 songs because that's how much money people gave us. And that's okay.
But that's like a full album. Like by today's standards. I mean, if it was like 1998 still, you would
one of those songs is 10 minutes long. So one of the 7 songs is. So it's kind of more like 8 songs on
And are you going to do a cover of any music?
No, because then we would have to buy the rights to it.
Oh, never mind.
So no.
JK,
we do have to record a bunch of covers because people pledged for a tier on the crowdfund that's like, record a cover song for me. And everybody chose really difficult cover songs. Thanks, guys. So we're going to record some shitty covers.
Okay. I think you should do some It's My Turn to Fly or some Evanescence or Linkin Park.
Steph to choose that.
Okay, well, she and I already had a long conversation where she was like, let's come up with something to do. And I presented her a bunch of options. And she goes, okay, I also could only think of like joke things for them to do.
She picked a garbage song that I actually really like, and I don't think it was a joke.
Which one was it?
She picked Only Happy When It Rains. She was like, do you want to do that? And I was like,
we were talking about garbage.
I don't think that's a joke. I think that's a real song.
Eventually, she was talking to me about it, and we were like, I think you should go with Garbage because like that's Maddy's inspiration, number 1.
Yeah. But also like she picked a bunch of other joke songs, and I was like, Steph, I'm gonna stick with your first suggestion on this for your sake, because I don't think you want me to
I would have
do
suggested the Pokemon theme, but you know,
any of those. I actually would love it if
that would have
somebody
been well timed at this point.
that song's really easy. So if somebody suggested that, I'd be like, yeah, but unfortunately we can only take suggestions from the 6 people who paid us $250. So.
I know. So, well, who knows? Maybe you'll do them for fun.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that ever again. The point is, I'm stuck in a recording studio for at least 2 weeks, and I'm probably going to have to do some extra days after this. But hey, it's better than recording an album in like 3
Well, you know,
years.
it's like I can always tell when you're busy when you like don't respond to messages until like 12:30 in the morning, and then immediately it's like you screaming that you're stressed out, and I'm like, well, I'm in bed.
I've been so annoying this week. I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine. You did at least get it started off by having a very stress-free weekend because I mean, we went to ConnectiCon, but also we celebrated your birthday. So I mean,
you're right. Okay. We went to ConnectiCon last weekend, and I already forgot that happened because of how busy
yesterday I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, that must have been like 3 weeks ago. It was like 5 days ago.
I know. That's how
much has happened in such a short period of time, though.
I know. And also, we usually do the show on Wednesdays, so it feels like it's been 1,000 years since I've seen you, but that's
pretty much
not true because I just saw you.
Well, so we made an announcement about it last week, but we went to ConnectiCon specifically to judge the Masquerade, which was actually a show that we directed for about like 7 years. And so we came back to sort of help out, and we were really there for just the duration of the. I don't even know what else was happening at the con because we only had enough time to go in and watch the show and then leave.
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't get the chance to see the con, which was kind of too bad, but we wanted to get there early, but it's us, and we didn't.
No, and then we had to park across Hartford.
We had to park somewhere else because we were getting there at a time when everybody else was already at the con.
By the way, you all can see this on my vlog, Follow the Sun. Because
I instantly got really stressed out as soon as we got there because I was nervous that we were going to be late and that we weren't going to find parking. And then
but we were like
in the parking garage. I was like, we can't figure out how to get out of here. Because
okay, that was like ridiculous though. There was like no signage that at all told us where to go.
Ryan was a normal person who was instantly in a good mood and was like, I'm hanging out with my friend. Let's take pictures of ourselves in our cosplays. And I was like, no, I'm too stressed out.
She was like literally running away.
Really freaked out. I was like, no, we gotta go. Because I just wanted to get to the con because I didn't want things to be tough for Devin. And I just was like, let's just go. But in retrospect, I was like, why was I so stressed out? Like, who cares?
I don't know. I mean, like, we were literally there for 3 hours and we watched the Masquerade, and it was a very short show. I don't think this is a theory that I had before we parted ways with ConnectiCon, but I was at the time, like our last couple of years there, I was like, I don't think masquerades are going to be like a big popular event at cons for too much longer. And like this year there was like 11, maybe 12 skits, and we were done in like an hour, you know?
I do know. And I remember even when we were there, and we left 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was the last Masquerade that we hosted.
So it was like 2014.
And you judged it last year and you judged it this year. So you've kind of been going back.
No, it was the same. It was sort of the same situation last year too when I went. It was maybe a little bit longer, but not that much longer. It was like maybe 15 skits that year, but this year was like.
But even when we were hosting it, we would like pad out the time with a bunch of other stuff. So it would be an hour and a half or however long it's supposed
or whatever it needed to be, but that's not the case anymore. But I mean, there were some good skits. I keep talking about this, and I rewatched it online, but there was a great Team Rocket skit that ended up winning Best in Show,
and we gave them the highest possible honor.
Not because they were Team Rocket. I'm just gonna point out they were really great. They like knew their cues like perfectly, and like their writing for it was like really well done. So I mean, like
the writing was cute, but I'm always way more impressed when everybody in a group skit knows their cues.
Well, I definitely sort of
because like we have been in some skits with more than 3 people in them. And, you know, a lot of our listeners / viewers might not even know what a masquerade is, like what a cosplay masquerade is, because it's really fucking weird. Like if you've never seen one before, then you're not
No, okay, but you were able to explain it to Ben like forever ago when he first went to a con, and you were like, like at school when the kids do like a talent show, it's that, but with like geeky stuff. It's like that's all it is.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's a lot like the Natick High School talent show, which I went to go see when we were in high school.
We don't need to revisit that right now.
Okay.
Doing Thriller and whatever other goth ridiculous.
It's My Turn to Fly was done by you.
I'm just gonna. Steph. Well, now we already said it, but basically, me and Steph did like when you watch movies and like there's like a high school movie and like if they do a talent show section, the goth kids get up and do something totally ridiculous. Okay, that was literally what Steph and I did.
Yeah,
like we had like black wings on and everything. Like it was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So this was that, except that everybody was wearing cosplays.
I'm probably better than we were.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there were some skits that were better than you were because the kids were a little older, or they happened to be really
and also
talented.
For example,
but there are definitely some skits where you're like, you're really young and you're really into this, and it's really cute. And I would say it's more cute than like, wow, I'm blown away by like how talented you are. Like, there's a lot of like, oh my god, these kids, like that those kinds of feelings when you're watching a Masquerade.
Yeah, no, you're totally right about that. And I
Which
think
is
with
not a bad thing. I think it's still very enjoyable to like go to a show and be like, oh my god, these kids love this so much.
I mean, that's the best part. Even when we were still working there, that we really liked was giving out the awards to a bunch of kids that like came and got on stage, even though they probably had like extreme stage fright because they clearly don't have a lot of theater experience. I mean, some of them do.
And like a lot of the stuff that we would help with, like especially during the dating game, was like we would be extremely experienced, and then there'd be people there who weren't that experienced, but you would kind of help them seem funny by like padding out the time and improvising with them. Do you know what I mean? Like they get to feel like they're part of a cool show because they have other people there to fall back on who are going to like jump in and be like, here's another joke, or, like that was what we would kind of try to do in that show. Anyway, we did a lot of like stupid shows.
You can find it. We're going to do a throwback on that eventually.
Yeah.
So then anyway, we finished and we both drove to Massachusetts extremely quickly because we were going to our friend Steph's house to celebrate Maddie's birthday. So
yeah, and I had to pick up Mary Ellen.
I somehow beat Maddie there.
Because I had to pick up Mary Ellen, Ryan. Remember how
I left after you did though. Like there was like a good 10-minute difference before I went, and then I got stuck during traffic.
Than I am.
No, I don't. I think it would have not worked out if I had gone with the original plan because I was gonna pick up somebody on the way,
and then Ryan was like, "Fuck it, I'm not picking up anybody."
I know. I was like, "Well, this isn't gonna work. We're like still leaving Hartford." But anyway, so it was an awesome party. We watched Van Helsing, which is a terrible movie that we'll talk about later.
we went outside and played Pokemon Go for several hours.
Which we'll also talk about.
Probably the most fun I've had playing Pokemon Go.
I think, well, first of all, I'm going to say this is like the most successful birthday you've ever had.
Okay.
Period.
Well,
no,
last year fucking good birthdays.
2014 was really good. The one with
I thought the 2014 birthday was really good.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to top that, but this one was very similar. Ryan is always joking around about how he ruins my birthday every year. That actually hasn't happened since we were pretty young. Ryan has accidentally ruined some birthdays, but you shouldn't beat yourself up for that.
I mean, it was like
most of the birthday parties that I've had, you have been there or you've directly organized them.
Okay, that's true.
So you should give yourself some credit.
That's true. But this was fun.
I had a pirate-themed birthday party when I was 16.
I remember that. I have pictures of that.
You didn't organize it, but you were there, and you and Steph were dating.
You had two different pirate parties when you were like...
Mink had one too, so you might.
Maybe you're right.
I think my 16th birthday was like one of the only big birthday parties I had when I was in high school, and then after that, I was like, I don't like parties. I'm too socially anxious to do this. I don't want to keep doing these. But then you threw me a party during D-Men or D2.
That's right. That's like a blooper that the world didn't see because we didn't put in the bloopers.
Yeah, and then after that, I don't think I had birthday parties for a while.
There was that one year we had, don't even ask why there was a GLaDOS at your party, but there was a GLaDOS at your party. It hit me in the face.
That was a ConnectiCon party. but it wasn't at ConnectiCon.
No, and
But
it's
that
still
was
milk.
years later. I think that was like 5 years later. Like it was when I was 20 or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't have birthday parties for a long time, and almost every single one you've been there. So anyway, you haven't ruined all of them. You just ruined that one.
It's just like a joke at this point. I want to talk about Pokemon Go, but we need to talk
workout tips.
It's also
Is your
9:35.
workout tip? Is your workout tip Pokemon Go?
Yeah, actually, that would be a good workout tip. But no, I was going to talk about scissor kicks.
Okay.
Which I guess there's a couple different variations you can do, because I was watching one workout video that did it a certain way, and then I did it a different way, and then Ben does a different way. But it's an ab workout. So you lie on your back, and you lift both your legs off the floor, and then you sort of move them in a motion that's like you raise one leg at a time, essentially straight, like this. How would you describe that?
I don't know. People will just have to watch the video.
Oh, okay,
Us
great.
doing this.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, but basically you raise them one time at it.
Your legs are horizontal to the ground, and then you lift one up, and then you lift the other one up.
And then you can I do larger ones, but you can do smaller ones and do them at a faster, like a number of them that way. Or you could also like do what Ben does, which he does higher ones. And then he brings his legs down, or he does like a straight thing in the air, and then he brings his legs down and then opens his legs all the way and then closes them. So like, I mean, they all do the same thing. They're all working like your lower abs, essentially.
Yeah.
I started doing them again this week because I forgot they existed.
When you were at a gym, did you ever see those machines? It's not a machine. It's more just like a weird stand where it's sort of like a chair that doesn't have a bottom, and it's really
and then you sit on it and you start playing Pokemon Go.
No, you can't sit down on it. So actually, I don't know if you do know what I'm talking about. It's okay. So it's like a really tall beam, and, like taller than you, or else it wouldn't work. It has to be very tall so that your legs are off the ground. And there's little steps so you can get up to it. And then at the top of the beam, there's these two handles, like chair handles. So you climb up on it and you balance your arms on the chair handles, and the rest of your body's just hanging. Have you ever done this before?
I've never done that. Okay. That sounds like something I wouldn't want to do, though. So
no,
I mean,
it's an ab exercise. So the rest of your body's hanging. So you're hanging in the air, and then you lift both of your legs up at the same time, straight in front of you. And it's an ab
I know
exercise.
what you're talking about.
So basically,
it's like a gymnastic thing.
You could probably do it by like using a pull-up bar, and it would be really, really hard. But
I wouldn't want to do that because I've already fallen off the pull-up bar one time, and I just know that's exactly how this would go.
Yeah. Well, I remember really liking that. And I forget what I don't know if it even has a name, but I'm kind of sad that I don't have a gym near me, because that's such a specific exercise that I could never do in my own home. But anyway, if you do have a gym and you've always wondered what that thing is for, you can lift your legs up in front of you. You can do one leg at a time. The only way that I figured this out was by like being at the gym and staring at other people while they did the machines.
Well, you have a Pokemon gym near you.
I do have a Pokemon gym near me. So unfortunately, I mean, we can transition into Pokemon Go because I don't have workout tips.
You just gave one. What are you talking about?
That's the closest I have, is a machine that I used many years ago when I was still belonged to a gym that I don't.
Well, you also said Pokemon Go, which we're about to talk about, so.
Yes, but that is a fake workout tip, because I have been inside of a recording studio pretty much every single moment that I haven't been at home. So I really haven't been playing Pokemon Go. And I know, like, I played it a lot over the weekend. I played it on Saturday. I played it on Sunday before I went to the recording studio. I walked around Boston for a few hours, had lunch with some friends, played some more Pokemon after that. So I got the experience of playing it in the suburbs and then playing it in Boston. I don't actually recommend playing in Boston. I didn't care for it. Playing in the suburbs was nice because there's nicer things to see. In Boston, It's just really crowded and everybody tries to talk to you, and I hate people, so no. But playing it in the suburbs was really nice, and walking around to the places near Steph's and near my place and finding the Pokemon gyms was pretty neat. But I haven't gotten to have that experience at all since we did it on Saturday.
Well, you were weirded out when we first did it too, because we were like, let's go over to this field, and like you were like, okay, this is where I go running every week, and now we're all playing
Pokemon. That was really
Pokemon.
funny. And then Mary Ellen was like, does this feel like a dream? And she was completely right, because it was like, this is a place I go to every day, but now we're here at night with all my friends.
Yeah.
And like all my friends who don't live here, who I don't really see in this context. So that was really, but it was fun. I really liked being there with you guys. And like, you know, downsides aside of the game being like not necessarily the greatest.
Not everyone is playing it for the social aspect, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of people who are going out and are meeting new people, and that is a good thing. And I don't want to like.
People are having fun. I hate it. But everybody else I know is like, I met 6 people I don't know playing Pokemon Go. And I'm
but see, like, that's the kind of thing I would like.
You love it. And I'm actually like, maybe Ryan will finally make some friends in his town because he Pokemon Go. And you're always complaining that you don't have anybody near you. And I get it. But maybe this is how you're going to find other people who you know.
I don't know. I mean, it's been interesting because, like, I mean, the sheer amount of people playing it is like it's absurd.
I'm
like,
really curious about how long that's gonna last.
Well, I agree with that, but Nintendo made a ton of money off of it.
I'm legitimately curious about whether this is just gonna be a 1-month fad or if this is actually gonna stick around.
Or if it's gonna evolve into something else and they start making other games that are similar to it that uses augmented reality in that way.
Yeah, but for the moment, it's a fad. I would say it's definitely in the fad phase.
I've said that too, because there's a lot of things that come and go that I'm always like, because you know how I'm always like, remember the 90s or the 80s when blah, blah, blah. I'm like, there's things now that I'm like, you know, in 10 years from now, we're going to be like, remember the blah, blah. I think Pokemon Go is going to be one of those things, along with Funko Pops, which is another thing that, yeah. So,
I think that we're going to look back on this specific time and we're going to be like, okay, so the politics of the time were like, Trump was the nominee and there's like a lot of police violence and also Pokemon Go was happening and like that will like very much
weird aspect that's
center you in the time period. Like all of these things, it's weird to be in a historical time period and be like, holy shit, like I can like tell what we're gonna remember about
but it's time. Like also insane because of like how awful the world is doing right now.
I know.
And even our country, and like then meanwhile, so it's
weird
like,
to be like, and now let's go outside and catch cartoon animals. Like it's like a really fucking weird time to do that.
I agree, and it's like looking at my social media feed is the same way, where it's like terrible deaths and like politics and all this awful stuff, and then it's like here's a fucking Rattata on somebody's head, and I'm like. What? But at the same time, I also think that's sort of great because it is making people like communicate and like get out and be part of their communities and like meet other people.
Is it?
I do. I mean, at least people of our generation.
Here's the part of it that I like. I like that it's getting people to go outside and appreciate the national parks. That is a thing that I'm like unilaterally like so liberal about, where I'm like, yay, national parks, like support public spaces, support the people who work there and like clean those places. Like the National Park Service did a little cute video yesterday about Pokemon Go. I don't know if you saw this, but it was like adorable. No. It was like this older man sitting at a desk being like, we understand you're visiting our parks to go play Pokemon Go, but we hope you also check out the trees. And I was like, you're adorable. And it wasn't even a joke. Like,
okay, that's adorable, though. I love that.
Video. It was completely earnest. And he was just like, we're really glad you're going out there. Anyway, have a good time. And I was like, you're like a parks dad.
Okay,
you're
but see, like, that's like another aspect of this that I'm sort of like fascinated by. Is like
that's
that. I mean,
part of the game that I really like because I'm like, oh, sweet, people are going to visit national monuments and they're going to see like interesting things in their town, and I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean, I also know that there's some towns where like almost nothing's been tagged, and people have talked about that because it's using Ingress data, so it only relies on.
yeah, they really do need to update that if this
I
is going to
know.
continue
And they
beyond what they've already
seriously need to
done.
update it. Like, there's
Um,
a lot of towns where like nobody played Ingress, so
yeah, and
there's
there's
just
also like
nothing.
a lot of places in towns that there are like a lot of Pokestops or whatever. Like around here there are, and I've walked them, and I'm like, why is this thing marked, but this other thing that is also a memorial is not marked? So
Mhm.
like, I sort of am like, okay, I think they need to at some point figure. They probably will. It's only been like a week, so I
Mm.
mean, and considering it's only been a week for this free game, I know people complain about the servers being down. I think
I know it's
for a
free
free
though.
game, it's
And I'm
free, and
like,
also it's happening less frequently than it was a week ago. So I think they've already improved on that.
I think also like you never could have known how popular this would be. Like, I think
No, I
people
mean, like, there
thought
was
it would be
no way.
popular, but it became such a phenomenon. And also, I do think that with all fads, there are a lot of people who are just trying it out, and those people will fall off within a week. And then the people who
I
actually
think a lot of
like
those
it,
people are the people that are playing the game because everyone's playing it. Like yesterday, I was
yeah.
at a Pokestop, and this dude and his friend, I think they were college students, maybe a little bit older, came out of this building, and they were like, "Oh, we have to walk over there." And then they came over, and they're like, "We put a diffuser on here so more Pokemon would come out." I was like, "Well, if you like wait long enough, I know there's a Meowth here you can catch." And he was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna wait for the cat," but he didn't know it was a Meowth. So I kind of feel like those are the type of people that, like, in a couple weeks from now, they won't be playing it anymore. Uh,
Mhm.
but they're just doing it because everyone is.
Yeah. But also, the other thing might happen where they end up really liking
I
it.
mean, that's true. I mean, I really don't know what to expect from this.
I don't
Um,
either.
it's a
I
very interesting situation, and I also think it's interesting that like there's all like you pick a team in there too. So like the other day I was walking down the street and there were so many people. Like everywhere I'm going, I see everyone playing this game, whether
Mhm.
they're at a Pokestop or not, and they're running by, and it's like not just like kids; it's like people of all
Oh
ages. Like,
yeah.
adults are playing it
I
too. I have
mostly see
like
adults playing it. I
yeah, I saw
actually
like there
have
like
yet
some.
to see very many kids playing it. I
I
almost
know there was like some
entirely
40-year-old or
see.
50-year-old woman who walked by me. She's like, "Is this a Pokestop?" And I was like, "Yes, it is." Uh, and she's like, "I love this," and then she like ran off. But I mean, stuff like that. I was walking down the street and I just very jokingly said to my friend, I'm like, well, Team Valor is the way to go. And some girl like literally appeared out of the bushes and screamed Team Mystic at me and ran away. So like that's like a whole other crazy like thing
We're
that's
both
happening.
Team Valor though. Like almost everyone we know is Team
I
Valor.
mean, that's just like
FYI.
that's like the type of people like our friends
That
are.
we
But
are. Yeah.
it's I mean, it's interesting, and I've been like really fascinated by it, and I'm addicted to it. I'm probably playing it smarter than other people are because I mean,
Oh yeah.
obviously, there's like all these things going on where
This is
people are like,
something that I'm curious about too. Where like I have talked to some people I know who aren't gamers, whatever the fuck that means. It's and I'll put it this way. People who aren't familiar with Pokemon, like the games.
okay,
And that describes a lot of people. And those people have been like, wait, I don't understand why some Pokemon are stronger than others against certain types. I mean, they haven't even put it that way, but I'm like, okay, well, there's different Pokemon types, and it's like rock, paper, scissors, essentially, but there's more than just those three things. And like
right.
water against fire and so on and so forth. So like that one is the only one that actually makes any sense. Like psychic against ghost. Okay, Pokemon. Like
Oh
thanks,
yeah,
thanks
I
for
mean,
inventing some shit. But I know that there's a lot of math involved, and like
yeah,
we've had some friends
who are like
who have
obscenely good at
gotten
it to the point where I won't play with them
really
because they like know all the different like stats. I'm like, I'm not that
and
committed.
like know exactly the right mathematical
Yeah,
matchup of which Pokemon against which Pokemon and like what levels and what types of attacks to use. Like
pretty
you can
much.
get really intense about it. And I do think that's gonna happen. And I think that'll probably turn off a lot of casual players, which is too bad.
But I don't think that's going to happen in this game because it's not
I
quite
think
that level
I
of
think that this game will get there though.
you
Like I
think
think
so?
they're gonna introduce battling,
And
and I
trading.
think yes.
Yeah, probably as they put more Pokemon in there.
Yeah, I
And
really, really think it's going to get there because there's such a precedent with Pokemon games for those specific mechanics that there's no reason why they wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
why
I hope
wouldn't
so.
they
I know
introduce those elements?
I'm glad it's happening. I think it's a new and interesting thing that we're trying out. I know not everyone's into it. I know some people are like, oh, it's dangerous. People are going to walk into the road or like get murdered because there were people that got robbed. Because I think that's the other thing. There's a lot of people that are not playing it smartly, being like, there's obviously not a park over here. So like, I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't walk over there, which is my recommendation. It's like,
I mean,
like look
there's
at your map that
that.
you're walking towards,
But there's also like more people are going outside, so
Yeah.
more people are getting hurt. And the main reason why crime has gone down in our generation is because more people don't go outside.
That's
And
a
even
sad
though I'm
fact.
glad that crime's going down,
I
it's
wish people went outside.
that's the reason. And like it sucks that now that people are going outside, people are like, oh, outside's really dangerous and I actually can't just walk around with my phone and be fine, because of course I can't, because there's fucking terrible people in the world who are trying to kill
Yeah,
me.
which is like actually a thing that is happening. And that's full circle to the beginning of this conversation,
I know, and I want to be
Um,
able to be like, go outside, it's so great, but it isn't
be careful
necessarily.
because somebody might shoot you. I mean, like, it's really terrible.
I know, and like unfortunately the problems of the world don't just disappear just because
When
we
everyone's
put
playing
Pokemon Go in it. I mean, like I wish that was true. I wish that the game would just magically be like, wow, let's all just catch Pokemon.
It is a very strange world we live in, because I've been many places now that are also blurring the Pokemon theme. So despite how terrible things are, I'm like walking down Main Street and the Pokemon theme song is blaring out of stores. Cops are going by playing the Pokemon theme. It's like,
whoa.
It's like, I mean, I love it. I love all this, but I am 100% on board with how you feel about like just the politics matching the time of this coming out. Is like,
it's very
the
weird.
most bizarre thing I've ever seen. So
that said, like I'm not on the team of the people who are like, I'm so annoyed by these people having fun playing Pokemon.
Okay, that's
Go.
stupid. Those people need to like get out of underneath the rock they live under.
If you're
like,
the type of person who's just mad at Pokemon Go because you're like, people are having fun and I'm
yeah,
not.
and also people that are like, it's gonna lead
like,
to danger.
We're goth, Ryan.
I'm not.
We've been like, we're not joiners. Like when we
No.
were growing up, we were like, all the cool kids like this, so we hate it.
We
like,
have to hate it, even though we're secretly watching it anyway.
Like we liked Pokemon, but like there were definitely situations where I was like, sports are dumb and dumb people like them, and like sports are fine, and I was just being an asshole. Like,
yeah, no, I've been there with you.
I mean, like,
I still do that sometimes.
Don't like, if you're doing that with Pokemon Go, like please try to like temper that reaction and just
and also if you're somebody that's like Pokemon Go is dangerous, it's like, okay, well, it's not any more dangerous than everybody taking selfies in the middle of the road. So
it's dangerous, but like, be aware of the reasons why it's dangerous.
You know what? Be aware of your surroundings. Period. Regardless if you're playing this game or not.
Like a lot of the dangers that have been coming up with Pokemon Go are dangers that were already happening because smartphones exist. And like because those
like
dangers
nobody complained about already. Candy Crush when that was happening. So
I think people made fun of soccer moms for playing Candy Crush, but at least now those soccer moms are having the last laugh because mobile games are the coolest thing ever now. All of those moms are like, yeah, fuck you. I've been playing mobile games since, for the past 10 years. So yeah, I'm really fucking good at Pokemon Go. I want a soccer mom to like destroy everyone at Pokemon Go and become the top trader in the world.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I mean, we got to stop talking about this because we have a bunch of other shit to get through. Now it's like 9:50. So, I watched Batman v Superman this past weekend, and Maddie still needs to watch it. So I'm not going to go into too much like information. And I basically spoiled the entire movie for Maddie because I just started screaming at her messages. I was like, everything's terrible.
Ryan does this thing where he's watching a movie and he like can't resist spoiling it for me.
Okay, so I just in this particular situation, it was because I was so mad at it. And
there's not that much to spoil because based on your messages, almost nothing happens in this movie.
Well, that's exactly it. There's like no motivation for Batman. Like, okay, that's not true. There's like a guy who gets crushed by like a building in the first movie of Superman, but apparently worked for Wayne Industries. I don't know. And Bruce is mad about that and his mom. And like, I also didn't realize that Superman and Batman have this, like their moms have the same name, which I never really thought about before, but that's fucking weird. And
they could only come up with like one or two names in DC. They were like, what's a woman's name? Barbara? Name 6 characters. Barbara.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, so I can't give you like an extreme detailed reason as to what's happening in that movie between Batman and Superman. And Batman's actually like barely in it. And there's like
really weird.
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot of sequences where Batman and Superman are both like torturing and killing people, but then sometimes it's a dream sequence, but then like Superman will wake up again because the dream sequence was also a dream. And then sometimes the Flash is there. Like Ben was trying to re-explain that to me. He was like, you know that part where like
the Flash was there for a second?
No, he was like, it was like Superman like was Superman's having a dream where like he murdered everyone, but then he woke up, but then the Flash appears. He's like, no, it's not a dream. But then he wakes up again, and I was like, I don't even remember that. Like I remember seeing it, but that's not how I processed that at all. And Ben's like, no, that's what's happening.
Diagram for that. I'd need somebody to like write down a synopsis and be like, okay, these are the dream sequences. Now,
I mean, and so it's a very confusing movie, and like
I'm excited to watch it and not get it.
I mean, there's just like there's very little plot, and there's lots of like brooding and angst and all that bullshit. The only interesting thing about this movie is Wonder Woman, because Gal Gadot is so good at the role.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like her reading lines. She does all these subtle movements with her body that are very Wonder Woman. Like there's a part where like Bruce goes to like put his arm around her, and she's just like very subtly pulls herself away from him. Like, don't touch me. Like,
yeah.
And she's also like, there's a scene where like Bruce is going through all these like security cameras, and every single security cam he looks at, she like looks directly at the camera and then continues walking. And so, I mean, she's really great. She has a great battle cry. And so there's actually this one part that I didn't tell you about where like they're battling Doomsday at the end, and Wonder Woman's like sword and shield go flying away, and like, you know, like the woman's dropped all her weapons, and I'm like, oh great, now she's gonna be on the ground being like, oh, now what I do? But that's not what they did. Doomsday comes over, and she just is smiling and shakes her head, and she's like, oh, lo, come on, fucker. And I'm like, it's too good. It's like,
it would be funny if her line was literally,
no, well, when they go to battle Doomsday, they're like, I don't know about this, and Wonder Woman's like, I've battled bigger monsters than this, and she's like takes off and screams, and I'm like, this is awesome. So I mean, she's the only good part about that entire movie. I also will say that I did like Ben Affleck as Batman, because he really does. He looks like Bruce Wayne. He's got the right look for it. Unfortunately,
I'm also not
the movie is trash, so. It does not play well.
Like, I think Ben Affleck is a corny human in real life, but like his acting, I don't mind it. I think
I agree. I think he's really good in this movie, and it's disappointing that. Hi, bye. I'm putting you down away. I think it's too bad that like he's basically wasted in it, and
but he's going to be in Suicide Squad, another movie that may or may not be good. But
I don't know. I don't know. I knew Batman was in there, and then I was like, at the end of this movie, I was sort of wondering if like the movies were connected, because Batman at the end screams about Arkham, and it sort of seemed to be setting it up for Suicide Squad.
It intentionally was, because he's in it, and it's all in the same universe.
Yeah, they never revealed any of that, but
well, they've already shot the scene that he's in.
Yeah. So basically, I don't recommend this movie. It's awful, and I know that a bunch of the reader mail that we got that we're going to read is specifically asking me if it's worth watching for Gal Gadot, and I do think it's worth watching to see Wonder Woman. But I mean, just watch those parts. Like, do you want to do some reader mail, or should we talk about Van Helsing a little bit first? We should talk about Van Helsing a little bit first, but that's all I want to say. Also, I want to say Star Wars 8 finished filming, and Mark Hamill said goodbye, so I think Luke Skywalker is dying, but that's sort of what I also thought.
I don't, but we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, you already know my theory on this, that the first movie is all about Rey and Han, the second one's all about Luke and Rey, and then the third one's going to be Leia and Rey. That's what I
just don't think they're going to keep killing people off, because
they could be. That'd be a really funny joke at this point.
It would be, but according to the structure of the previous movies, like Obi-Wan dies in the first movie, and that's like the inciting thing that, you know, causes the rest of the movies. So structurally, I don't think I didn't even think about
that. Maybe Luke's gonna be frozen in like all sorts.
Oh yeah, maybe somebody will get frozen in carbonate. And although in this case, it'd probably be John Boyega getting frozen in carbonate, right?
That's true, right? Okay. Never mind. You're following the patterns better than I am. So
I don't think they're gonna do that. I'm actually just kidding around. But I don't think there's gonna be any other major death because that would be very strange.
That would be very strange. But I'm excited about it. The end.
Doesn't matter. Star Wars is awesome. On to Van Helsing. So at my birthday party, we couldn't figure out what movie to watch, and I was like, it'd be fun to watch a bad movie together and like make fun of it. No one but me and Mary Ellen wanted to do this. But it was my birthday, so I was like, I guess we're doing it because it's my birthday, bitches. And so Mary Ellen picked Van Helsing, which is a movie that weirdly almost all of us had
saw
seen
together. No, we went to the movie.
Not Mary Ellen, because she wasn't friends with us in high school.
No,
and
but
also like was in middle school at the time.
A lot of us did go see it together, and
but me and Rai-T and you and Steph and Caro, I think, was there.
Who the fuck knows? I mean, I don't remember who was there.
And Elena was there, I think.
I literally do not remember who was there.
Those people were at the party again, and we had all not seen the movie for like, I don't know,
we saw it in theaters, and then
years.
It was also a movie that we parodied in D2 for some reason. Like,
all saw this movie together, and like I think we didn't necessarily enjoy it, but convinced ourselves we enjoyed it because we all had a crush on Hugh Jackman, and we were all
and it was also like sort of like a gothic movie.
Like,
yeah,
like this movie's like steampunk and goth, and like at the time it was like before steampunk was a thing even, so it still seemed really cool. And we were like, oh, you know, there's corsets in it, there's hats, all the fashion in this movie.
And there were vampires, which was
garbage.
This was during the time that we were all into like yeah, but it was during the time that we were into like vampires, but not in the way that people are into vampires now. Yeah, like it's
but it was like still when Buffy was a thing. It was like a post Buffy, pre Twilight era where
it was during sort of like when Castlevania was rising up again too. So there was that.
It was like still a cool time for vampires. It was like right before vampires were about to be played out like a couple years later. But it was like still, and so Van Helsing was a terrible movie that Hugh Jackman starred in right before that cusp of vampire oversaturation happened.
And it's not just vampires, it was vampires, werewolves, there's
but all this stuff is on Penny Dreadful now. Like all this stuff is Penny Dreadful.
That's way better.
I know, but I'm saying like a lot of the stuff that happens in Van Helsing has been done better on shows like, I mean, Supernatural is not a good show.
No, we don't need to visit Supernatural.
But like, I think that's another example of the same style where they're like, what if we take, you know, vampires and Frankenstein and like stuff like that and like put it on TV show? And obviously there's Teen Wolf, there's Vampire Diaries. Like there's been a lot of stuff since Van Helsing that I think was influenced by the trend that Van Helsing was trying to capitalize on just a little bit too early.
And I think that Penny Dreadful is a good reference because that's where it's pulling all the same mythology from.
Oh yeah, Penny Dreadful is like a decade later than being like, okay, let's try to actually fucking do this.
And like, I mean, because they still try to make goofy movies like that all the time, and I am into the goofy like genre of like Hansel and Gretel and Frankenstein, I Frankenstein, where it's just like stupid and ridiculous.
Frankenstein, which I haven't seen, and another example that I haven't seen that like Daniel Radcliffe was like, and James McAvoy were apparently also in a shitty Frankenstein movie recently called like Victor Frankenstein, and James McAvoy's like a sexy Victor Frankenstein.
I mean,
and apparently that movie fucking sucked. So it's not like people haven't still been trying this.
No, but the thing is that like these movies are supposed to be purposely goofy, and Van Helsing tried to do that, but I think Van Helsing just failed really bad. Like I think they were still a little too serious. Like
they were. I completely agree.
When we were watching it,
I think Van Helsing was happening before the time period when it was okay to be like, isn't it funny that we're doing this? Like I think that irony started happening later, like after the recession. This movie was still like part of the time when things were very excessive and like the special effects look terrible, but at the time,
my god, but that was like just special effects then, you know?
Yeah, at the time they looked like they were as good as they could be. Like it was like, also this movie was like 2 hours long, 3 hours long. Okay,
we were watching it for like a really long time, and then I was like, how much more time is left in this movie?
And there was an hour.
It was like, yeah, and I was like, we've already been watching this for an hour and a half. Like
we started at like 11 p.m. We started at like 11:30, which is like late to start a movie. I think I left, I don't know when I left, 12:30.
I don't know.
I
kept thinking about
we can't finish this because
this it's funny because I didn't know what part of the movie we're in, and this is a movie that we actively parodied in that Demon movie we made, and like parodied it like we had watched it so many times. I don't think I ever saw it after I saw it in theaters. Like, I think I owned it and still didn't watch it.
I don't think we watched it again either. But weirdly, I was able to like identify which scenes we were parodying. Because
I'm glad because you were explaining it to me, and I'm like, I don't remember that at all.
Well, but nobody else would have ever understood it. So we were parodying it in D2, to clarify. It wasn't in D-Men because it came out.
And those people that were there were like, oh, that's what we were parodying? And I'm like...
And D2, by the way, is the movie that probably no one watched because D-Men is funny, but D2 is a tough watch.
Yeah.
It's really a tough watch. I think a lot of people try to watch the first 30 minutes and they're like, I can't do this.
That's completely fair.
But
I mean, the first 3 minutes are the only enjoyable part anyway.
They are really fun. But anyway, the rest of D2, there's a bunch of Van Helsing parodies, like multiple ones. And I had forgotten that we had two, because we have at least two. We have the beginning where Van Helsing tears down the poster of his face and kills Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde. Well, he kills Mr. Hyde, who then turns into Dr. Jekyll as he dies. And so it looks like Van Helsing
Hyde was in there.
Yeah, at the very beginning. Well, not even at the very beginning. I thought that was the first scene of the movie, but then there's like a million other things that happen. And I was like, I don't even remember any of this. There's like a long scene with Dracula meeting Frankenstein and like something.
I don't remember any of that. So I just remember we were watching it and we were like, what's happening? And like,
so Mary Ellen and I were like having a good time making fun of it. And like, Elena was like, why are we watching this? Turn it off.
I was even getting to that point too. I was like, this is like beyond me. Like, I like bad movies, but this was like beyond that. And I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore.
Well, luckily for you, we did turn it off. I had a pretty good time making fun of it, though.
I did too. I mean, honestly, like...
I had more fun than you, I think. I think for you, there was the added embarrassment of remembering that you had made a movie that, like, extensively...
I mean, that's exactly what it was. And I kept on being, like, I'm so mad at myself for being like, why did I invest so much of my time in something terrible?
Yeah.
Like, so there was a period of time that I was really into Batman and Robin because that's a terrible movie also, but I liked it because it was terrible. And I can go back at it and like laugh at that, but I couldn't do that with this. Like,
this was kind of embarrassing because it's so self-serious and
I know.
Like, really wants to be cool in such a genuine way that it like makes you feel kind of bad.
It also it's a strong reflection of how we were goth and we thought we were cool. So
yeah, it was like watching ourselves in high school, except that it was Hugh Jackman wearing a terrible hat. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Reader mail. Don't watch a movie. You got everything you needed from that. James emailed us and he asked me specifically, so how was Batman v Superman, Ryan? It's terrible. It's garbage.
It was really good. It was really good.
Don't ever watch it.
You should definitely check it out.
On to the next email. The movie's terrible.
Thanks, James.
Zach,
thanks for the mail.
This guy, Zach, emailed us and he says, hi, Insomniacs. First off, my condolences to Ryan and his boyfriend. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you. I read that last night and I was really actually kind of touched that somebody wrote in and said that. So thank you so much for that. And I told Ben as well. I just wanted to write in and say how much I enjoy the show. You two are super entertaining, and it's clear how much you love each other. Maddie, you remind me so much of my best friend from college. It makes me miss her less when I hear you talk. Oh, this is a very touching email. Now that I've buttered you up, please let me know if you've watched Mr. Robot and how you feel about Rami Malek. He also sent a recipe, but you can. How do you feel? Have you seen Mr. Robot? I have not actually watched it yet.
No, I haven't seen any of it. Honestly,
it's on my to watch list right now. I'm watching very important.
To say it, but it really doesn't sound like a show I would like, which is why I intentionally haven't.
But Gita and Marianne really like it, so you might.
Yeah, but I think they mostly like it because they think Rami Malek is really hot.
Okay, that's probably true.
Which is fair, and he is very hot. But I don't really like sad, intense shows where people die or they're constantly in danger or
unless it's Jessica Jones.
Serious shit is happening. Even that, Jessica Jones, I had to I watched it for work.
Yeah.
And I wrote about it for work. But I had to really sit down and be like, okay, Maddie, this is
you had to prep yourself.
You feel sad. And it really did.
I mean, I'm on board with you because I don't like those shows either. I mean, clearly on my watch list right now, I'm watching.
Jessica Jones is great.
No,
I love it. But
I'm watching Sonic Boom right now. So that tells you about the level of willingness I have to watch a serious show.
I watch Empire, which is a show where people get hurt, but it's like it's very over the top in a very specific way. I've been watching Gilmore Girls, which is trash.
Yeah, no, it's great
but
though.
It's adorable and fun,
it's
and like
it's a good
cute
TV show to watch if you grew up in New England, because
oh god,
it's like really aimed at that
parody of what it's like to grow up in New England.
It's not really even a parody though. It's like sometimes it is weirdly accurate though. Like
sometimes, but overall, Ryan, it's so corny. If you go back, like the extent to which everyone loves each other and is so friendly, I'm like, this is
that's like not the case. Like
so feel good.
Well, to be fair, we grew up in Boston or the Boston area, so even though we're all like nice to each other, we're also assholes. So
anyway, so Gilmore Girls is such a like feel good corny show, and I've been enjoying that. So but that's Gilmore Girls is like my watch in the background while I'm doing chores kind of a show. It's not like a really watch.
I mean, I really can't. I'm with you where I didn't watch a lot of serious shows, and if there are serious shows, it has to be something I'd be like really invested in. So.
I don't know. I don't think Mr. Robot, I think it's too serious for me. I think I would get depressed if I watched it, and I just can't do that. So yeah, but I might check it out someday.
He also sent us a recipe.
Cool.
And it's for a Southwestern breakfast skillet. Ooh, I really like that. Preheat oven to 375 Fahrenheit. Melt butter in an oven-safe skillet and add chopped yellow potatoes. Cook for 10 minutes. Add diced red bell pepper, onion, and garlic and cook for 5 more minutes. Remove from heat and stir in black beans, cilantro, and season to paste. Sprinkle or really cover the veggies with cheese, pepper jack or Monterey Jack. Pepper jack is the way I would go, just saying. Crack a bunch of eggs on top and cover with aluminum foil. Bake for 10 minutes. Remove foil. Bake another 5 to 8 minutes until egg whites are fully cooked. Serve with salsa, and avocado if you're feeling fancy.
That sounds amazing.
That does. I like. As soon as I read what it was, I was like, I'm already in.
you should make that. That sounds like really a Ryan dish.
I'm gonna forward it to Ben because he's better at cooking than I am. But like, that's something I would absolutely eat in a heartbeat. So, thank you. That sounds delicious. I'm gonna eat that like right now. And then one more email from Taylor. Hi, Maddy and Ryan. I've got a question for each of you this week. Happy belated birthday, Maddy.
Yay!
I'm glad to hear that the studio time is going well so far. What's been the most surprising part of the professional recording process? I think we sort of talked about that. And then Ryan, is it worth the trauma of Batman v Superman to see Gal Gadot in action, or do I just need to wait a few months until I can watch the good parts on YouTube? Love the show, Taylor. I think we answered both of these questions.
You should make a fan edit that's just Gal Gadot and put it on YouTube.
Of just her screaming repeatedly.
No, just her scenes, because that's all anybody wants to see.
I'm probably not going to do that because I'm sure somebody else has already done that.
Fine, I'll do it.
But yeah, I think we pretty adequately answered both those questions earlier, right? Because you talked about what was the most surprising part of the recording process, right?
I don't know if I did. I'll just say really quickly, the most surprising part is that a recording engineer is really, really fast at finding exactly the takes that are good and editing them together so it sounds like you played a perfect take. That is what we're paying for, is how fast, within seconds, he can be like, oh, you didn't hit the hi-hat exactly right there. You did in this take, and then instantly it's there. Like, in less time than it takes me.
That's crazy.
That I said. It's crazy. So that is why we're paying this much money.
Okay.
Because we can play 2 takes, and then he's like, all right, you got it.
And also he knows how to edit probably better.
He knows how to produce the tracks, which is like, compressing
an important part of producing an album.
But honestly, the best part is that he can just take the best bits and pieces of each take as he listens, and that is so difficult and amazing that he can do that. So that surprised me. It surprised me how talented he was. I seriously recommend Plaid Dog if anybody lives in Boston.
The end. And as for Batman v Superman, just watch Wonder Woman. That's all that matters. That's all that ever really matters, honestly.
Guys. I'll watch it. I'll make the video. Ryan's not going to do it. I'll do it. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's too much time. I have to edit Gino, which is more important at this point. So
it's true.
Yeah. Okay. So Skye's recipe corner, and she sent this like a week earlier, and she's like, "Well, I'm still keeping it." I'm like, "Why wouldn't you?" So she said, "Today I thought I'd go over a simple red pasta sauce recipe that is a nice alternative to just getting the Paul Newman sauce, which is great, but it's fun to make things from scratch." I'm glad you go with Paul Newman, Skye. Like I go with like the cheapest brand. I'm the worst Italian. You need 1 can, 14 ounces of diced Italian tomatoes, or the equivalent amount of vine-ripened tomatoes, 4 cloves of garlic, minced, 1/4 cup extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper to taste. Feel free to push it real good. Basil and oregano to taste as well, if thou so desires. Drain the canned tomatoes in a saucepan, combine all ingredients over medium heat, and add spices and herbs to taste. Just don't use 11 different herbs and spices, then you'll be in violation of Yum Foods copyright. Use this sauce for any kind of noodle dish. That's actually pretty great. I wish I had the patience to do that kind of thing.
I've done stuff like that before, but it takes so long. And I'm just like, why didn't I just buy a can of tomato sauce?
Well, because, she's right that it's going to taste better. So
also, it's fun. That's the real reason. It's just
but I just don't want to cook anything while it's summer. So grill it up, baby. Yeah. And joke time. Why was the fruit stand owner upset with the customer's popular new phone app? The app was Pokemango. Happy birthday show, Maddie.
I have seen people making that fun because the hashtag for Pokemon Go looks like it's Pokemango, kind of.
Yeah, no, you're right. Pokemango.
Yeah. Mangoes are really good, by the way. I recently bought a bunch of frozen mangoes for all the smoothies I've been making. But that isn't the recipe I want to say. I already have a prepared recipe.
For once.
I do. So I make a salad all the time, and it's the same salad every time because I'm never going to get tired of it because it's the best fucking salad in the world. So this is a great summer salad, and it's also a great all the time salad. So I like salads with lettuce in them, but if you're a person who feels like lettuce takes up too much space and you just want to eat the rest of the salad, then this is the salad for you. It's a chopped salad with no lettuce in it, but if you want, you can put it over lettuce. So here are the ingredients. It's a pint of cherry tomatoes, or I use grape tomatoes, and I cut them into quarters so that they're really tiny. And then 1 green pepper, 1 red pepper, 1 cucumber, and 1 group of scallions. And usually I just use 4 scallions, and I save the other remaining scallions for like a pasta dish or whatever, and just toss them in there at some point. So it's all of those things. Like, you cut up the entire cucumber and into quarters and put those in there. You dice the entire red pepper, the entire green pepper, and you cut up all 4 of the scallions, just the white part on the end.
Red pepper's really good.
Red pepper's really good. So then all of those things are about the same size. So they're all about like that big. So it's really easy to mix it together and have a bite that has a tomato, a red pepper, a green pepper, like all of the different ingredients can fit into a spoonful.
That's a lot of time spending cutting up vegetables.
It only takes about 15 minutes.
So is this the salad that you dropped all over the place? And then we're really mad about? No wonder you were so mad, because you were like, I'm not even going to bother remaking this. And I was like, why?
I can't, because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So anyway, that total makes 3 salads for me, because I'll eat like a third of that for lunch, and that's my lunch. So here's the protein part. You put some feta cheese on top of that. You just sprinkle some. I usually get like fat-free feta cheese because it has more protein in it, but this time I have some low-fat feta cheese.
I'm a very big fan of feta cheese.
So this is like a Greek salad. If you want to be really fancy, you can dice up some parsley and put the parsley on there, and that adds a little kick to it. It's really good. And here's the dressing I use. Half olive oil, half red wine vinegar. And that combination, it's like a perfect, delicious summer salad. So I had that salad yesterday, and I had a terrible migraine yesterday, and I like couldn't convince myself to eat any food, but I had that salad. It tasted really, really good, even though I felt nauseous. Did it cure your migraine? It did not. I still felt like shit for the rest of the day, but I did manage to convince myself to eat food, which is really hard to do when you have a migraine and you're nauseous.
Fun fact, if you're having a migraine, eat a little bit of like the 86% dark chocolate, because that does help you.
It might, but it might make it worse, because
I don't know.
Some people, a migraine trigger is chocolate. Not for me, but for some people it is.
Well, okay, so if you're not one of those
people. But also, if you already have the migraine, I figure all bets are off. No, like, at that point, you can eat whatever the fuck you want. That's my rule.
You're totally right about that.
But yeah, I love chocolate. I did have some chocolate yesterday.
I had lots of chocolate-covered fruit 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was your recipe 2 weeks ago.
It was.
You said
also,
chocolate-covered fruit. What's your salad? What's the salad that you make?
Okay, so there's like 2 variations, because there's the salad that Ben and I will eat, and then there's like, if he's not eating with me, I'll make a different salad. but it still has the same basic ingredients. So basically, like, I get one of those like mixed bags of salad, so I can get like the ones with like the spinach
Spring mix?
and no, it's like the ones with like the spinach, arugula, and anything but iceberg lettuce.
I love arugula. It's so good. It's like crazy good.
So like we'll do that if we can, if it's already pre-mixed, or if I can get it, I'll put in shredded carrots. We put in cucumber, like cut up cucumber.
Yeah.
And usually croutons and like a little bit of like the Parmesan cheese, but like the flaky kind.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and then since it's like one of our main sources to get protein, we put a lot of chickpeas and dark red kidney beans in there, because I mean that we like so much of that since we don't eat meat, so we have to get like that protein from somewhere. And so we like dump a ton of that in there, and sometimes Ben will put in peas or edamame on top of it, which is also good. So like this is like protein heaven at this point. So that's basically our base salad. But then if he's not here, I'll also add in some fruits because I really like the idea of fruits with my vegetables. So like I'll do like strawberries and bananas. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. Sometimes I do put nuts in, but I stopped doing that since we started doing chickpeas because like that's sort of like protein overload at that point. But I'll put in like strawberries and bananas and sometimes apple slices in with all this other shit that I've already put in there. That's, I mean, sometimes I put in the red pepper, but not frequently because I like that more in stir fry.
Red pepper's got kind of a kick to it. Like I would say my salad is more of a savory salad than the one that you're describing. Which
it's funny because I actually do really enjoy tomato, but I don't like it in salad for whatever reason. So I don't ever put tomato in my salad.
It took me a really long time before I started liking tomatoes. For a very long time, I didn't like raw tomatoes. I didn't like the texture. I thought it tasted like a weird...
I did too when I was a kid, but then I sort of got over that, so...
I'm definitely over it now, but I mostly just like grape tomatoes, which are so small that there's very little texture there, and they're not really watery. Like a big tomato there's a lot of water in it, and so like putting that in a salad, it's just like eating water. It's weird.
No, I agree with you. So
I do like grape tomatoes the best. But that's just me. Do whatever you want to do.
I mean, the fun thing about salad is that salad.
Listener.
Yeah, I mean, you also put the different dressings onto, whether if it's like a vinaigrette or a ranch. I mean,
I almost never use ranch dressing. I pretty much only use oil and vinegar dressings because that's just what I happen to like.
I like all of it, so it doesn't matter to me. Sometimes I'll put in like the peppercorn dressing, and I love that.
Like, I know that people like probably think it's corny that we're like, salad's so good. And they think we're like fucking with them.
I mean, you can make a lot of it, and it's also like
so many different kinds of salad that you can do.
Like it doesn't really matter what you put in it because it all still sort of works together, you know?
I mean, just if you don't think you like salad, you probably just haven't met the salad that you like yet. So like give it a try. Like for real.
You know, the salad you make might be your best friend.
And also, like, it's really healthy, and it's like a great way to get yourself to eat a bunch of vegetables and have them taste good. So
yeah, and also like you can make it in mass quantities, so like you take care of like 3 meals that way.
Oh my god, yeah, that's what I do. It's like I make the one salad, it takes me 15 minutes to cut everything up, but then that's 3 meals. That's like 3 days of lunches that I don't have to worry about. I just open up the fridge, scoop some salad into a bowl, drop it all over the floor, get really mad at Ryan on the internet, and then I'm done.
Angrily eat a banana instead.
Angrily eat a banana and pout about the fact that I dropped my salad all over the floor. So it's really easy. It's so easy.
I think at one point Gita said, like online somewhere, she had tweeted, she's like, you know, in the summer when it's hot out, just start munching on like salad stuff because instead of like eating ice cream, just trust me, it works out much better. And she's totally right.
Like getting a bag of carrot sticks and just having carrot sticks in the freezer, like refrigerator.
Fridge. You mean you can put it in the freezer too. It's gonna be tougher to eat. So
yeah, don't do that. Anyway, that's my recommendation. We have like 6 recipes this week. Let's close it out.
I know. This is like one of those longer shows. You know what I'm sad
about? We didn't have enough time to talk about Pizza Wars. That was one of the topics that we didn't get to today.
I'm just going to say Papa Ginos all the way. Although I really like Sbarro, so.
We picked Papa Ginos for my birthday, though, because I got to pick. And I picked Papa Ginos.
Domino's is like...
I'm against Domino's. I'm taking a controversial stance against
Domino's is something you eat when you like need something at 3 a.m, essentially.
We have talked about our hatred of Domino's on the show before. Only the pizza, not like the people who work there.
But they really have really good cheesy bread, so I'm almost forgivable for that. But I go Papa Gino's all the way, or Sbarro pizza.
Man. Papa Gino's
Pizza Wars. All right, let's close out. So thank you for watching, number one.
Thank you. And if you want to
subscribe
send
to our
us reader
channel.
mail, oh yeah, subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Subscribe
also-
to Atomic Blue Productions, which is our production company where we put other stupid videos on the
Like
internet.
Leon and Jill.
Like Leon and Jill, which we didn't talk about on the show. There's all kinds of shit you can watch at Atomic Blue Productions, which is a phrase you should Google and find our website and our YouTube and our Twitter and our Tumblr. Do we have a Tumblr?
We do, and an
Okay.
Instagram, and
Instagram.
we have something else, but I'm blanking. And also, you can subscribe to the Facebook. That's what it is. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. And if you don't have iTunes, you can go to atomicblueproductions.com, and that's where the podcasts are still available for download in MP3 form.
That's right. I make an audio only version of this show for people who
That's
don't want
right.
to watch the video. That's right. Meowth.
Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light.
Anyway, if you want to send us reader mail, it's insomniacsinthemorning@gmail.com, and we will read it on the show because we don't get that much reader mail. So
that's cool, though. You make it easier for us because we end up running 20 minutes late anyway.
Okay,
all
that's
right.
it.
Happy Friday, everyone. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the summer. Thanks for watching.
Friday. Bye.
Bye.